But I must say that that western corridor is extraordinarily exciting from a real estate perspective.
Yep.
Because what is happening through that corridor will actually change life forever for the people that own properties through that entire corridor. So for those that may have doubts about it, if you own property down there, you've got to be looking pretty good over the next 10 years.
Well, exactly. I mean, we're electrifying the rail corridor, the jobs that are being generated by Techport, the construction of the 3 air warfare destroyers together with the 12 new generation submarines for the Australian Navy. That's a $35 billion build program, $35 billion through life support program, largely spent in the northwestern suburbs of Port Adelaide and Mawson Lakes Technology Park. I mean, look, this is just not political rhetoric. I think our state's economy has taken a substantial leap forward in terms of its economic reform. We are no longer a rust bucket state relying on old, second generation manufacturing. We're now transitioning into first order manufacturing, into high tech, into value add, into an environment where services such as education are the way of the future. And it's no accident that our unemployment rate in South Australia now is the lowest it has ever been.
Victoria Park.
Victoria Park.
Talk to me. What is happening?
Well, we're putting up a grandstand to run the great Clipsal 500 V8 supercar race, and when the race is completed, we'll pull down that grandstand, and before next year's race, we'll put it up again. That's the will of the people. Now, sometimes in politics, Anthony, I've realised that you can't win every debate, you can't win every argument, and if the majority of people who live around that area think that it's better off putting a grandstand up and pulling it down, well then, so be it.
Is that not as bad as a one-way freeway?
No, nowhere near it. It's eminently doable. It comes at a cost, but that's the view of the majority. And I learned in this business sometimes it's not worth sweating the small stuff. There are big picture issues we've got to deal with. The Clipsal 500 is an outstanding event, and the fact that we can return the parklands to its natural environment is probably at the end of the day a good thing.
Just a couple of more things. Can you give us an inside, because it is the inside story, inside story on the battalion that's arriving?
Yep.
And we've heard about it for ages. They seem to be arriving. And anything in the mining industry that we're not aware of, because it's so important to real estate and property.
Sure. Well, I can say that the amount of work currently being undertaken at the Edinburgh Super Base is quite extraordinary. There is a massive amount of construction, about $700 million. What had just been an air base is being transformed into a super base. The 7 RAR coming down from Darwin and from other parts of Australia, 1,200 soldiers, probably in excess of 2,000 people. The government is assisting people in and spouses, male or female, in looking for work opportunities, assisting families with real estate and buying or renting. Excuse me. And we are doing all we can to integrate the battalion. Now, that battalion will be arriving over the course of the next 12 months, and this will be an outstanding further development for the northern suburbs of Adelaide. And my bet is, over the years to come, we will see more and more units and elements of the Australian Army moving into what is one of the great military bases on mainland Australia. And we've got the next generation of reconnaissance planes coming into service over the next few years when the Orions are phased out. We'll have unmanned aerial vehicles coming into Edinburgh, and it is a unique asset for this state, right next to the Defence Science and Technology Organisation, as well as Technology Park, where we have British Aerospace, Saab Systems, and of course down at Techport, the actual consolidation of the Navy's build program for its both surface vessels and for its submarines. So that whole northwest precinct, if you say, of the city is an engine room of massive opportunity for economic growth and for housing price growth.